All right, everyone's on recording now. Behave now. All right, so we have our animal class we built last time. We got our legs, size, name is fixed. And so we have our three required items: leg, size, name. Oh no, those were our four. Sorry. And we also brought in weight as our other item that is additional. I close the classroom now. One second. Bring my notes back up. Also, I do want to remind people, don't forget to submit your assignment. I have 7 people who haven't submitted it in yet, so when you get a chance, try to get it in. I am going to look at everyone's over tomorrow. So on Wednesday, I'm going to be spot checking several ones, looking at definitely doing deep searches on ones that don't look a little off when I first look at them. So again, I have the due date set tonight, so you're fine. You're not in bad yet, but I just want to make sure everybody knows you want to submit whatever you have. Again, it wasn't about getting it fully completed, just get in whatever you have. Let's see, we have our animal. We probably need to add the weight to our constructor. So let's add that. All right. And the last thing we needed in our animal class was just a generic speak class that doesn't say anything, because we don't. Not all animals can actually say anything. Some animals are definitely mute. So, avoid speak. Out. 3 dashes. I'm good.
Can I just copy this down because I wasn't?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just finishing the constructor part.
Okay. I'm curious. I have a fan running. Is anyone hearing that like crazy, or is that not? No, people not hearing it too bad.
I don't hear anything. I just hear my fan.
I don't hear it either.
All right, good. So I'll make sure it's not being captured by the recording.
It's almost 100 degrees today.
It's 100 degrees in my apartment.
Yeah, I felt like that's where, unfortunately, like I said before we did the 30-minute break, I decided to cook something that used the oven. Not really a smart idea, I realized. Nice little flatbread. Chickens can't be flatbread.
Yum.
I enjoyed it. But yeah, probably not the best thing to do to use the oven on such a hot day.
Did you make enough to share with the rest of the class, Cliff?
If you asked me before I ate it, possibly, but no.
Oh.
Not anymore. Anyone else need time to write down?
I'm good to go copying the constructor.
All right. That's going to be our animal class. Again, there's so much more we can do with this. I'm sure everyone's aware. We could add like walking methods and add in like speed field. We could add can fly Booleans or can swim Booleans. There's a bunch of things we could definitely add to this animal class. But like I said before, when you're building your system, you only need to put in what's needed for the program you're building. As we said before, with the cup class in my original example, if we're just putting it in for a water dispenser, we don't need to keep track of what the thermal resistance is. We probably don't need to know the material of the cup. As long as it's the cup that can hold stuff, that we're good. So the cup just needs volumes. We make sure we cut off the liquid before it flows. So even though the cup class has all these extra features, in our first program when we implement our cup class, we don't need to put all that stuff in. We can always add those items later on and create extra overloaded methods. So that way we don't break anything. We would have one cup constructor that builds the system based on just the items our water dispenser needs. And then later on, when we build our coffee dispenser, we can add another constructor that adds on material and thermal resistance into the construction. So that way our water dispenser program doesn't break because it still has access to its original constructor, yet our coffee dispenser can now use the same class. And at any time, our water dispenser, we could always upgrade it to then have the hot water tap, and then we're good to go. All right, so we have that. Let's make our next class. The next one we're gonna do is a dog class. So right click, new Java class. Dog. Okay, I'm gonna do node this. I want to show again the whole get process. So don't ask again, cancel. Not adding it automatically anymore. Yay. Good, yep, not getting added automatically. Good, all right, that's what I wanted. So we have our dog class. How do I make it a child of animal again?
Wouldn't you extend it?
Yeah, on line 3, it extends animal.
Yeah. Very good.
Is it supposed to be yelling at us at the moment?
I
Yeah,
think
we
it's
haven't-
yelling because you haven't created a
We haven't supered anything yet, so it's not pulling anything in from the main class, or I'm sorry, the parent class.
because there's no
Yeah,
like
you're right. Yep.
default constructor in the main class.
Remember, our animal class has a constructor, so that means our child class has to have one too. So that way it can fit those requirements of building out the fields that an animal class does. Let's go ahead and build that next. Public.
If you
Dog.
clicked on that, it would do it for you, Cliff.
True, but I want to keep letting people see that kind of process again. But yeah, there are definitely shortcuts for almost everything you do, especially the stuff that's very repetitive. Definitely want people to see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do.
What was the shortcut?
If you just click on the angry lines, it'll build the thing for you.
Oh,
Right there.
oh yeah, I never use those things. All
Yeah.
right.
The angry lines.
I definitely tell you to guys be careful on that because again, when you get the hacker rank for your interview tests, they don't have those systems in there. The shortcuts don't
yeah.
exist. So if you want to use them, that's fine, but you have to be sure that if you do, if I was to suddenly test, you'd be like, hey, you can't use that. Can you still build it without that item? If you can, if I could remove that feature from you, you can still type it out and go ahead and use the shortcut. That's fine. But you want to make sure that you don't need the shortcut to do your job. You're just using it to speed up your process. So,
Yeah, that's
public
what I was
dog.
using it to do, just to speed it up.
Fine by me then. Here we go. So some of you may be wondering, okay, where are the fields here? So what I can do first is I can actually just go ahead and use the super command to see what do I need.
Oh, that's cool.
Legs, size, is fixed, name, double weight.
Nice.
That's what we do here. So hover over it and see what I need. So we need. Anytime we can just do the same, the parentheses again to see it again if I need to see it multiple times.
Yeah.
So let's start with, of course, the other option I can do, by the way, just to clarify, is take animal and drag it to the side, which is what I tend to do more often. Side by side code, I tend to do that a lot more often. We're gonna do that. This. Maybe my next class, I'll see if I can increase the font a little bit. Anyway. Super. So we got, if we look here now, we can see on our over here what we need. Legs. Size. Boolean width. It's fixed. Name.
You put all that in super?
Oh, wait,
Oh,
I was actually, nope, I was supposed to have done the wrong one.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yep, that was supposed to be inside dog.
I thought I was learning something different.
Me too. I thought I was learning a hack or something. Nope.
Nope, I just clicked the wrong line. Nice catch. So you got those, and we're just gonna pretty much type them back in here. Legs,
Yep.
size, is fixed, name, and weight. And this, by doing this, I've just made the dog class happy now. So now I can do the things that I need to do that are unique to this class.
Mhm.
Going to the assignment, we were required to do a breed. What data type for breed?
String.
We require snout length. What do we want to use for that?
I did string as well.
There's
I
multiple
did
options
string
depending on
also.
what-
I
it
did a
depends on what
double. for
values
that
you
one.
want to use. Who used double?
I used a double for it. As in measured in like inches or something.
Right. So there's what's cool about this is that there's multiple ways we can do this. And it depends again on what we want to display in our printout. If we want to just use like English words, we can do strings. We can say short, long, stubby, crooked, whatever terms you want to use as a descriptor for it. So we can definitely do that. That's not a incorrect thing to do. Using that. Travis, did you just double join?
Oh yeah, I was double joined from the.
Oh yeah, I heard that someone joined the room. I don't know the waiting
No,
room.
no, no, no. It was me because I couldn't
Oh,
get in
okay.
my computer, and now I'm in now.
All right, yeah, you're right. The order of the participants is not necessarily indicative of anything. Never mind. Sorry for that, Travis.
No problem.
I forget that the participant list order has no relevance whatsoever. But anyway, as I was saying, so it was interesting about the snout length. I was very curious to see what people would come up with. It really depends on what the data you want to store in there. What are we storing? If we want to be very descriptive or very accurate, sorry, not descriptive. If we want to be very accurate and scientific, we can use double. So we can then use centimeters, meters, inches, whatever we want to use as a numerical value to actually measure the snout, like with a ruler or measuring tape. So that's definitely an option. That's snap length. At the same time, we have to wonder, is a doggy daycare going to actually measure with a rule of the measuring tape the snout of a dog, or are they going to type in something a little more user, like human friendly? What do we think?
Human friendly.
Yeah, that was my thought process.
I was thinking small, medium, large.
Right, and that's what's really interesting about this. So I want to say 100%, those who thought to use double, very nice. Being aware of those other data types, very good on that. But at the same time, one of those who use string, good job being aware of the use scenario, the use case of where this dog class is being used. And this is where it can be very, again, this is why I always say, for me, once you finish an assignment, if it was a solo assignment, feel free to get together with one or two classmates and look at what they came up with and see how they did something different from you, just so you see other ways to approach the exact same problem. Again, as I explained when Arnell tried to give me that post of me finishing the class at the time, again, I benefited most because I helped my classmates and I saw how they approached the same problems. And like I said before, sometimes better than I did. So seeing that, whereas those of you who did string, hearing others say double, like, oh, that is a way I could store that. And for those thinking double, hearing string, it's like, oh yeah, I could do string. I can see where that might be useful. For this one, yeah, I want to use string just to keep it simple so we can just be able to print out short or long on the display method. So low string today, but because we already have a double weight, which I like. So we already had a double. I might have kept the double if we didn't have one yet. But we do have one. And then we had to come up with one more custom field. Any ideas from people? That is a dog-specific custom field. This was a trickier one, I feel.
I had a
I did.
string for chip ID for the microchip in the dog.
Interesting. That's a good one. What else we got?
It house trained.
House train. That's, you know what? Yeah, I don't know of many cats that are house trained. That's really a dog thing. I know that some cats can be, but I'm not aware of that being a common
Well,
attribute you keep track of.
I've come across something new, as in like, are they farm cats or are they indoor cats? Because like the farm cats are left outside and they eat up the mice and other small rodents and stuff.
Yeah, I did put under the cat because I had to come up with my own dog versus cat fields as well. And so that's why I thought of was stray on the cat class. Like, that could work. Yeah, was this one found on the street or was it actually docile? Like the two farm or born in a house already?
I did energy level.
Ooh, energy level. That is definitely a dog-based attribute. Cats are pretty much one energy.
Moody.
Tail length.
Oh yeah, for cats I did is mean.
Is mean. Is that ever not true?
I was to say that's gonna be always true.
Yeah, Lane
Cats
has
are not
cats.
mean. Cats are not mean.
Tell
They
that
are
to
not.
the
I
ones that
had
grew
good
up with
kitties.
me.
Yeah, the
Cats
ones
are
I
evil.
know, they're mean.
Yeah, I had good cats.
Oh,
I'll admit.
That's how you treat them.
Yeah.
No, mine were jealous. They were there
Cats are
before I
agents
showed
of the
up.
devil.
And I had good cats, mostly just because they ended up getting lazy because we treated them so nicely. They just laid around. In their end life, in the beginning life, they were outside cats, and one of them was really cool. He was a hunter. He liked to catch things and bring them in and be all proud and like, look what I did.
Those are the worst ones because those are the ones that are on the headboard at night waiting to kill you.
Good thing, but he was actually one of the most lovable creatures out there. He would literally just get in your lap, roll on his back, and be like, "Pet my stomach already." He was the sweetest creature ever. He was actually nice to the other dogs we got. He actually let one of his sister cat ended up being. We gave her away before her children were done
They're talking about you.
milking. I guess I don't know what the word term for that is. Nursing. Milking. Wow. Thanks for that,
Milking
yeah.
cats.
Nursing.
Eat the fuckers.
So,
Henry
we gave
says-
away.
This one now.
Henry
one.
Henry says, be nice to me. I'm a good boy. I'm very
Yeah.
good and hungry.
Well, like I was saying, yeah, like so I had the one cat and his sister, which again, she had kids. So we had three generations of cats in my household at one point.
Wow.
She had kids, so we actually couldn't hold that many cats. We were like, we can't have 5 cats in our house. So the sister went away, and then 2 of the children went away. So we kept the grandma, the black cat Coco, and one of the children from Coco's sister. Apparently, we gave away the mother too early. That the child was still nursing. Coco would actually, as a male cat, would let the child nurse on him.
Oh,
As just like, you are too nice, cat. Why are you not whacking him off? Get rid of him. Like, don't let him do that. Yeah, they can be nice. They can be.
Keith popped out for a minute. I don't know if you saw that, Cliff.
What's that?
Keith popped out for a minute. He'll be back soon.
Oh yeah, I saw him one step away.
Okay.
I didn't see the chat though. There it is. There it is. Alright, cool. So which one do we like, people? The dog, by the way, not the cat. What?
You know,
We
it's the
had,
same.
what was
It's
it? Chip ID. We had. Yeah, I remember them. We had Chip ID. We had. What was another one?
housebroken.
Yep, we had Housebroken. Yep, Housebroken.
I would go a little bit further and be is it a service dog?
yeah, service
Yeah.
dog. That's a
Service
brilliant,
dog.
right?
That's an interesting one. Yep. I don't know how many service dogs we dropped off at a doggy daycare though. Usually the service dog would stay with its owner.
No, it's
Just
very,
day off.
no, it's usually those are being trained like by needs by specific groups to do something like that. So
Interesting, yeah. Again, I'm not saying it's a bad option. It's just one of those things like,
Yeah.
I wonder how it would fit in the doggy daycare option
yeah,
system. So this
Yeah.
service dog, and there was one more. What was the other one?
Energy level.
Energy level. That was it.
That's a good one too.
All right. So what I'm going to do a poll. We can take a vote on which one we like. There we go.
energy level like it's a happy dog or a sad dog.
I guess so.
Yeah, I like energy level.
Oh, I had it as an int, so it could range from a 1 to 10 scale.
Oh. Very cool.
So I'm going to put it in there. No one give anybody any sort of like opinions. Come on. So it's like, I guess that again, never mind. I guess if you want to try to justify your field, go for it. And save, and we'll launch. There we go.
Oh, man.
Oh, I can't vote because I'm still a co-host.
Oh, I can take that away from you.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I just accidentally muted you.
And you mute me to boot. I'll just leave, I guess. Wow.
I'm gonna roll right now. Can I take away the co-host bit? I don't know. Oh, there it is. Withdraw co-host promotion.
There we are. 'Cause I'm just
That
watching.
sounds so mean.
I'm watching
withdraw
all the
co-host
stats go up,
promotion.
but I can't vote.
There you go.
No promotion for you.
I removed your promotion. Can you vote now?
Yes, I can.
There you go. That sounded so mean when I saw the line withdraw co-host promotion. You've been demoted.
I didn't want the position anyway, so.
I'll remember that for next time then.
No, it's fine.
Dock is pay.
There you go.
Great. No, I was afraid I would hit the wrong button on something, accidentally kill the meeting or whatever. So I didn't touch anything.
I mean, it's not like Gabe hasn't done that before.
So who wins?
Well, we're at 71% of the vote, so I want a couple more in there.
I am.
I'm making this one anonymous, so I feel like I should be able to see who hasn't voted this time.
I didn't vote on my second one because I didn't think that was fair.
Oh,
What happened?
Because I'm logged in on twice.
Oh,
So
okay.
I only voted once.
I
Oh,
appreciate
you
that. So 15 out of 20. Okay, good to know. It still means there's 5 that haven't voted yet. Come on, people.
I say the 5 that didn't vote, you make them code.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I hit the end, will it actually show who voted. So be aware that I might be able to see if you haven't voted because I didn't hit the anonymous button. So be aware, I'll know who didn't vote. So I'll be able to call you out this time.
Make
Oh, wait a
them
minute.
code. Make them code.
Now I need to find out though. Are the 21 including the 3 in the other room? I have 3 students in another room. I wonder if it's including them.
oh,
Because there's 19 minus me, so 18 in this room. And then 19.
Them code.
I think it's including the other 3 that are in the other
Okay.
room. Yep. Okay, that makes sense.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, if I knock down 4 people out of this, that means only one person hasn't voted, and maybe it's including me. So yeah, that's actually it. Okay, looks like Chip ID wins by 1.
wow. Who is second place?
Energy level. Oh yeah, I gotta hit the end so you guys can see it. Sorry. There you go. Now you can see.
no, we can't.
No? Oh, share results.
Uh,
There we are.
There it is.
There it is.
Wow.
It was not. It was actually pretty close. Even is house broken. It got 3 of them. So no one that
Chip
didn't really
ID
get much
is
voting
good.
is the
That's
Service
right.
Dog. Yeah.
That's what I get for voting for Chip ID.
You do know you're allowed to vote for yours, right?
Yeah, I didn't want
Trying
the
to be
$1 million
diplomatic.
prize.
Yep, that's what you get for being diplomatic. I would have told you guys if you can't vote for your own.
I want to recount.
I want to recap.
It's all fake.
It's
This is
rigged.
all fake.
Yep, you know I manipulate in the background.
You got me. I got a botnet that's voting for my.
Russian Russian hackers.
Travis,
So-
if you took on that other laptop, you would have been all set.
That's true.
You could have at least brought it to a tie and would have had to
Tie.
redo the vote. I guess I could always, if I really want to, I could do ranked voting, take Is Service Dog out and put this poll back up again. No one got 50%, no winner. All right, here we go.
Let's just code.
Yes.
We
thank
spend more time on the poll than we do coding.
So what do we like for Chip? What's the data type for Chip ID?
Oh, God.
String.
Yeah, for mine, I had a string that started with a pound sign.
Very good. Yes. For those of you who are considering, unless you're going to do arithmetic on let's even say that your Chip ID was going to be all numbers. Let's say your Chip ID was going to be all numbers. Unless you're going to do arithmetic on it, it's actually better to store numbers as strings so that you know you have accuracy and there's no chance for leading zeros to get dropped or for any sort of rounding to accidentally take place or any sort
Oh,
of
that's a good point.
misbehavior or incorrect
Yeah.
behavior to happen. So if you're never going to do arithmetic on it, store your numbers as a string. It's a common practice. If you're going to do arithmetic, then yes, put it as an int or double or some sort of numerical value. That's a decent rule of thumb usually. So. ID. All right, let's add in items here. So one thing I'm going to do to make this a little easier to read, and I'm going to do another the multi-line thing we've done in Java script. I hope you guys have done it. I'll do that, and then
Oh yeah.
what is it? String read.
All right. I need to watch.
Now the cat's bothering you.
Him?
Yeah, I hear you talking to the cat. I think.
Can you see
Oh,
him?
he's on your shoulder.
On my shoulder.
I didn't see it. I
Guys,
just looked over.
who think that cats are mean? That's not mean.
That's pretty
They're
mean.
just
That's
weird.
pretty. I find that to be mean.
He is kind of distracting you from class. He's just kind of hanging out on you.
Sitting on my shoulder. He's 14.
Trying to
pounds.
crush you.
Oh
See? He's coming in. He's gonna cover your face and still stop you from breathing.
That's where it's like a snake.
You never do that.
I got this dot breed. Breed.
Thank you.
Am I doing that right? Yeah. Okay.
So-
Nope. Creek.
Cliff, there was a question in chat
a-
about instantiating chip ID as a final string, but I'm not familiar with what that specifically is.
Very good question, Richie. A little more advanced, something I was going to get into later, but I do, you know what, actually, I think it might be a good idea to do that. So any guesses what this might mean?
Wouldn't that block it from being changed, though? Would have to be defined as it's being declared, right? You couldn't change it like through the constructor.
Hmm.
That's the way to do it. If it's not initially defined, I think you can set it once. But once it's set, it's not.
Okay.
That is key to a chip ID.
Yes. So yes, if you notice I didn't have it set, it's telling you, it's like, hey, this final item has not yet been initialized, and it has to have something. See how it says it might not have been initialized? The
So
keyword
you
there
get
might.
like one free one,
Yep,
and then
you can do one
okay.
free assignment. Once it's been assigned once, you can't reassign a final item. So it's kind of, it's similar to a constant, but again, with that slight variation. Once set, cannot be modified. So it's final. This is where it's set. It's actually a really good item to do, Richie. Yep, and yep, Richie just said that in the slot in the chat. Very nice. So there's a slight difference between constant and final. A constant, you pretty much, I believe the constant you have to set when you initialize, when you declare it. Whereas the final, you can initialize it somewhere else in the code. So we trying to remember Java constant. Didn't look this up for today. I don't have my notes up for constant of the other constant values. There's more than one constant system in Java. There's final, and I believe there's another one that is just like static as well. So static is also another type of constant you can use. I'm gonna have to pull up those notes because I wasn't planning to discuss those today. But this is actually a really good place to use final here. So this is a great time to introduce it because it fits really well with this value. Once we get the chip ID registered, that's not something you want changing randomly, right? You don't want the program randomly changing the chip ID for this dog. This dog's chip ID is set. It's unless they're going back under for surgery again, that chip ID is not changing. So we want to keep that final. So no, very good add-on there, Richie. Nice one.
So with that final string, if you were to say put it through a method that would change it if it wasn't a final string, would that cause an error in the program, or would it still take it but just not change it?
Let's take a look. Void test final. ID equals value. There you go. That answers the question?
Yep.
Good. And this is what I would love. So and this is one of the ways I like to answer questions sometimes. Instead of me just telling you, oh no, that it'll yell at you. I like to show what that'll look like if you try. So you recognize that error, so that you know why you're getting that message. It's telling you right there that the variable you are trying to assign is marked as final. So it gives you the option to make it not final, but really what you should do is just not do this. But it is giving you that warning saying, hey, this is not allowed. You can't assign a value to a final variable that's already been initialized. Sound good?
Yes, very cool.
Cool. Oh, yeah. All right, so we have our dog. We have our constructor for the dog now. Let's close. Okay, let's stop sharing the poll, by the way. I think that's still up. So we can stop sharing that and close that out. Close that out. Keep the chat open. Yep. There we are. And last but not least here, we just want to override the speak class so we can give it a new item. And so this time I want to actually use the annotation so you can see that system again. I know we haven't been using the override annotation, but I want to kind of show it again so you guys can get a little more used to it and choose to use it if you want. So override, this is an annotation, and during your current use of Java, annotations are more meant for you. What it does, it allows the compiler and the IDE to know what the following code below it is supposed to do, supposed to be. And so it can warn you if you're not actually doing it. So what I'm doing now is I'm annotating saying, hey, this next item I'm going to do should be an override method. This method should override something. And so if it doesn't, it's going to yell at me, telling me, hey, this message you built isn't overriding anything, to make sure that I haven't accidentally mistyped it or done it incorrectly. And it can help me to notice a mistake in my code where if I mistype something or use the wrong data type, where I'm then not actually overloading the previous method. It'll let me know, hey, just so you know, this method you wrote isn't actually overriding. So either one, you don't have to override, or you did something wrong. And so that's what this override annotate does for me, is it can help to check my code for me, help let me know if I've done something wrong. I know I'm going to override something, so I'm going to use the override annotation so it can let me know if I do something wrong. That makes sense? And then again, the main key here I'm going to keep in mind here is that this item is optional. But again, it's there to help you if you want to use it. So public, no capital T, speak out, and as our dogs, we're going to keep with a woof as our default behavior for doggos. Sound good?
Mhm.
All right. There's our dog class. Look good. Nothing too crazy here. All right, next one. We're gonna go through this one. We're gonna do the next one a little faster.
I'm just jotting down that override method.
Yep, no worries.
One sec. I'll be done in a second.
Yeah.
All right, I'm all set.
Cool. Here we go. Before we go though, I do want to point out, notice how this is not yelling at me. It's happy, but if I was to add in string noise, replace this with noise, we'll see that the override is now angry, and it lets us know a method is not override method from its superclass. So it's letting me know that there is no speak with string method that I can override it. There is a speak method, but there is no speak string method. Remember how that's how the overloading system works? That methods are their method and their parameters that they take. I'm doing that back to the no parameters, which matches the speak method here. The override is now valid. I am now overriding this line 18 speak method. Sound good? All right. Off to cat. The cat required items that I wanted you guys to put in for the class was pattern. What data do you want to use for pattern? So straightforward.
Wouldn't we still extend this animal class?
Yep, that we will. Good. We will. Which means we do also need to put that compiler in. So you know what? This time I'll actually use that shortcut. So if anyone hasn't used it yet, feel free to try it out. I'm going to hover over it. We create constructor matching super. So you can see what that brings in.
Wow.
Nice. That brings in everything.
Oh my God.
So I wanted to show it once so you see how it works. But again, yeah, I always tell people be careful with those. Do not get too friendly with it unless you know that what it builds for you, you could do if you didn't have access to it. If you have confidence, you can build the standard constructor for a child class, then you are okay to use the shortcuts. But until you can do that confidently, until you can say that confidently, don't use the shortcut until you can do it without it. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. Next one we need to include was the.
Why is the cat and dog classes both yelling at us right now?
That color. Remember that the colors on the left here are different. They are meant for Git. So
Okay.
red means new file. Blue is modified.
I got you.
Yep, those are Git colors on the side. I don't like how they decided to use red because red usually means bad, but I don't know how to change that right now, and I haven't really looked into it. I got used to it. Anyway.
You know why? Because you did cancel instead of added it automatically.
Yes,
So when you add it automatically, when that prompt comes up,
I think it's still red because it's still a new file. Unless is it blue because it's under the
Because you haven't added it so you can commit them. So they're not like
Right.
if you were to commit, it's only going to commit animal and main.
Yeah. Yep. Because these two right now are well, no, even animal is not going to get added because it's not staged yet. So these two are new files that are not tracked. Animal is tracked but not staged. So I need to add all three. but that's where the difference is. This one is being tracked, but it's been modified, that's blue. These two are new and untracked, so they're red, and main is both tracked and committed with no changes, so it's white. So it's all good, it's happy where it is. Sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Public, and then we have the next parameter, which was stray. What data type does that sound like?
Boolean.
Boolean.
All right, so it's kind of like a yes or no statement, right?
Sure.
If I was to say, hey, was this cat a stray? You'll say yes or no, right? There you go.
Yeah.
It's a good hint. Like I said, I like these items for Booleans, the was, is, has, those kind of prefixes to the data type so that it kind of very strongly sounds like a Boolean without me having to look at it. We got those two. And then I remember some of the items we had is mean, what was some of the other cat values?
I know one, Claude.
Ooh.
Oh, declawed. I like that one.
Claude.
Coolness factor.
You can put
Bonus
value.
factor.
What is
What do they call it when they don't sit down to pee? The cats.
They don't call it anything.
They don't sit down. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, they got that. That's why you have to get one of those enclosed kitty litters because they don't know how to sit down. They never learned it.
Oh, that's what
I
those
have
are
no
for.
idea.
They got the system so you can train it to use the toilet.
Would declawed be better as is declawed?
Very good. Yep. Because that is a yes, no kind of item, right? It's a Boolean value. So is declawed definitely fits better, right? Good catch. I'll give you one to call that out. Yeah, is mean, is declawed, coolness factor, any others?
Kill count.
Kill streak.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I will say kill count would apply to my Coco, my black cat. He was the hunter. He would go outside and take out the mice, take out the birds. So he would have a pretty decent kill count.
Are we missing something completely from like all these classes?
Is demonic?
No, well, I was wondering about the sex, male or female. Are we missing like all that whole thing?
I put that in my animal class.
Ah, very good call. Yeah, I would fit there.
Consider that. Well, I did.
You're right.
I did consider it, but I was far too along in coding to want to go back. I was working on the actual what do we call it? The daycare class, and I'm like, I don't want to go back and add stuff in at this point.
And again, that's what's really interesting. As you move through these, you can very easily think of other fields and other attributes that you're like, oh, I could have added this one. Ah, dang it. But once you get to this point, it's like, all right, well, I can add that later once I finish the requirements, right?
Yeah, I've been trying to reel myself in from feature creeping too much because
yes.
I don't want my projects to turn into Ultima Online 2 and never come out.
Wow, that's a reference. I like it. But yeah, no, that's 100% true though. You always want to make sure that, while it's great to think of other things you can add, make sure to just put them in comments if they're not needed to fit the requirement for the assignment. You can always add them in later, and that's actually something I 100% wholeheartedly enjoy doing and recommend you guys can do after you get the assignment done is build on top of it. 'Cause this is what companies like to see. Oh, you did your assignments and wait, you added more to it. Is partially what impressed Arnell at the end of like the cohort of the class I was in. When I showed him my projects, and most of them I had added a bit extra. Like the really big one that I really kind of surprised him with was a stock trading application we built in the program. And when I first looked at how to do it, I'm like, no one's would ever actually use this thing. And so I added a bunch of extra features to it, and because it seemed more like I would actually use it and want to build it then. And he was like, wait, you built it and you added more and you did it and you finished before the rest of the students. That sounds accurate. Of course, when he said it, I realized, wait, I think I did. That sounds weird. So like, those are some of the things that really impressed me. And those are things that other students have done that have impressed their employers too. I'm going to mention them again, Titus. I'm pretty sure you know where I'm going with this, but student named Christian, again, I think I mentioned it before, Yahoo, you guys, that's one of the projects you guys are going to end up building with me. That student went home and ended up building the entire scoring system. Titus, do you remember did he tell you how many lines of code that was again? Do you remember how much that was?
For Yahtzee?
Yeah, when he did the scoring system.
Shit, that was like 2 years ago. It was a lot. It was a lot. He was very excited about it. He
Yes.
definitely like.
He was
So-
showing everyone when I walked in class.
1 million lines of code.
It was like 800 and something.
He was-
But he
800.
definitely was like, he definitely went home and he was like super excited about it. Like that's definitely like that project got him. That like helped his confidence. I want to say.
Yes, I definitely think it was good. Again, I came in and he was showing everyone it. So he was running the Giatti program with everyone in class. I'm like, what's going on? I was like, what's going on? He's like, I built the scoring system. He was ecstatic to talk about it. So, and that's kind of what companies also love to see too, because it definitely shows your understanding. It's great that you can complete the assignments, but if you can complete the assignment and then add more on top of it that was not asked for you and you understand enough of the code to be able to add those extra items, that's a great way to, one, grow your own knowledge and to showcase that you understand it. So feel free to then, once you finish the requirements of an assignment, if you find an extra 30 minutes or so, just dabble a little extra, create a couple extra methods, create a couple extra fields, make it do a little more. If you can figure out the scanner class from HackerRank, add a UI, make it interactive. So have it ask you questions that you can then respond to, which we will get to. I will help you guys learn how to use the scanner class eventually myself, but those are things you can definitely get into and you'll be impressed with what you can build. All right, we're gonna do a quick little poll. This one's gonna go fast. So only 15, I'm gonna try to get 15 or 14 people minimum. So here we go, polling. This might be evil though. I'm a little worried about this one. Can I not do another poll or what's going on here? Let's chat for a second. Oh, there we go, create. God. And launch poll. Here we go. This is going to be an interesting result. I'm going to watch. And that's 18. All right, and poll. Share results. That one fast. It was very
had a
interesting the
feeling.
way it went. So I will say the kill count can be looked at as kind of a coolness system because I'm looking at it as, again, my cat that I had. His kill count was with rats and birds, not with humans.
Yeah.
So we can look at it that way. How good of a hunter is he? But I will say, apparently only one person in our class is mean themselves. So,
Claude is probably the most practical for this situation, but
I will say I was personally hoping that one would go. If it was close between D-Claude and kill count, I probably would have overrode, but I can't really override 11 people.
I couldn't argue with just how cool that was.
Stop the count.
That's not the
Declaring
count.
I have the old Halo 2 announcer in my head saying the kill streak of the cat right now. So.
spree. I used to stuck in my head too, man.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant when my cat plays Call of Duty.
I'm imagining it when they're, you know, how like sometimes they bring mice to your feet, you know, so like kill count.
Declaring is
Head missing and stuff.
All right, there we go. Kill count. I'm going to assume it's an int. So.
Oh no, Stewart! He got Stewart.
These new lines. And we're just going to do this dot pattern, this pattern, this dot. Oh, I didn't add those yet. That's what was yelling at me. Pattern. And was stray. Stray, stray, kill count equals kill count. That might be good for a dog, for a daycare to know how many creatures the cat has killed, to keep an eye on it or not. right, so we got that one. Let's override the speak class again. We'll do this time. I won't put the override annotation, just so you can see that it works both ways. Click void speak. How we don't need that annotation in order to override. That's a optional item. S out. What's our cat make?
Calico.
Okay.
No, what
Is that
noise
is
it
gonna
makes, not the
sound-
make of the cat.
Yes. What is the sound? Is their cat's default sound?
Meow.
Make of
We're gonna just do a standard old meow.
Oh, cats make really specific sounds.
We just need one for a generic cat sound. This is what all
Mew.
cats default
Meow.
to.
Meow.
I don't know how to type that.
How do you phonetically spell that?
I heard mew, which is definitely different from meow.
Yeah, Mew is
That work?
MEW is generally a crossword puzzle answer.
Yeah.
Meow is obviously.
Yeah, that's like, again, we have a woof in our dog, so I don't want to go with just the standard meow in our.
Wow.
A meow. A meow.
Purr.
We go per. What else? What are we thinking? One more.
Like
One
meow.
final choice.
Make it conditional depending on kill count. Good one, Richie.
What about moo?
The cat says it's model before it takes down a mouse. He who dares wins.
You know what? Actually, I like that idea. Let's do a conditional on our on this speak. That way, it's really different from the original. If kill count greater than what? 5, 10, what?
Let's say 5. Let's do 5.
All right.
Yeah,
Kill count is greater than 5.
When do you become an ace in the Air Force? Is it when you take down like 3? I think it is. But
Yeah.
5 works too.
What's our cat doing when we get higher than 5? What's the noise?
Let the bodies hit the floor.
Hiss. HISS.
Hiss. We could hiss. Yeah.
Oh, the lights in my apartment just flickered, so if I go down,
Mine is
I
too.
lost power.
Mine just did too.
Oh, jeez.
Great.
Why is it storming over there or what?
No, it's just hot.
Everyone's running ACs.
Hot, yep.
Sure, there's no
That's it,
cats
that's it.
out to get you, Matt.
And then we'll do mew for the tiny little mew for our non-killers. Sound good?
Very cool.
All right. There we go. We have our items, and now we can see a really good override. So this is a real override now. We've gone from just nothing to a conditional speak method for our cat system, which is definitely different from our dog speak class. So now you can really see how these items work differently. Sound good?
Yes.
All right. So let's head back over to our main class. Oh no, you don't need that. We're actually going to build. Let's go ahead and actually do a quick get push for this item, because now we've created our 3 animal classes. So we've created our animal system. Now we're going to actually create the system that does logic, which is different. So it's probably a good time to kind of save now. If we really want to, we could also test these classes, which we might do. But let's save first, and then we'll test. So, well, no. Usually test first, then save, because if it doesn't work, we don't want to save stuff that doesn't work. So as soon as I said, I'm like, that doesn't sound right.
Whoa.
Let's build some things. Let's do animal. We'll call it a frog. New animal. And if we take a look, we need legs, size, is fixed, name, and weight. So for a frog, how many legs does the frog have?
4.
4.
4, unless 2 of them were harvested for food. What's our size of our frog? We do it with string, so how do we describe the frog?
Small.
Our Boolean fixed. Do you fix frogs?
No.
I don't know of anyone who does. Like, you probably could, but I don't know of anyone.
Eat 'em.
So, so do false on that. What's the name of our frog?
Annie Oakley.
Raul.
Bro.
I don't know. I'm not sure how to do any of these, so we're just gonna go with Raoul just for the fun of it.
Floppy.
That's how we do Raoul, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I believe.
Not really names I expected from frog names, but all right, we'll go with it. We can get like Hoppy or Ribbit.
It's R-A-U-L. That's how you spell Raul.
I
And,
wasn't sure if the O was in there. I've seen the O in there before, so I wasn't sure if that was the right way.
they call
We'll go
any
with
animal.
Raoul. What's that?
Any animal I see, I call him Raul.
Ah.
It's a
Then we
troll.
got our weight. What's the weight of our frog? We would have doubled with that. So what?
10 pounds.
10 pounds. That's a very big frog.
That's a big frog.
God, that's a big small frog.
That's a whopper.
Yeah.
We did say it was small.
Breaker.
We'll say that these are grams. There we go, 10 grams.
10 grams.
Oh, the dogs are going to be huge then.
Oh, Jesus, you're right. Yeah, we're
All
gonna
right, all
go to
right.
2 pound frog.
Joke's over.
Yeah.
2-pound frog.
There we go. We got our frog. Let's do a cat. Cat equals new cat. How many legs does our cat have?
4.
Okay. What's the size of our cat? I hear some voices I haven't heard much. Everyone included. You haven't said anything yet. I want everyone who hasn't spoken yet this class to give me an attribute for one of these animals.
My cat's 14 pounds.
What?
All right, we'll put that for the weight.
All right, stop feeding that cat.
He's not fat.
Frogs.
He's not fat.
You're a monster.
He was just sitting on my shoulder. He's not fat.
Do 12 pounds there.
Oh, jeez.
What's our, so now what do we say the size for that one is now?
Huge.
Extra large.
Poor kitty. Well, that's what I heard, so. Oh, bad. You have to maybe be mean to cats.
Could call it just medium size.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
is
there you go.
fixed. Is our cat fixed?
Why
Yes.
not?
Yes.
Sure.
All right. What's the name of our cat?
Henry. Henry.
Henry.
Henry.
Heathcliff.
Okay, wait, I think we have pattern next.
Fritz.
Yeah. What's our pattern?
So
What is he?
Calico?
Raccoon.
Calico? I like that one.
That's
Calico.
what I used on mine.
All right, I'm gonna actually come back over here. I'm gonna put these on new lines now. Let's do that. Was stray? True or false? Is our Calico
True.
Henry? Was they
True.
were they a stray or were they
100%.
stray? All right.
Boy, he's
We're
so
stray, but they
fat.
rescued now.
Henry's a gangster.
So how was our kill count then?
That's
Grew
not.
up in the streets.
So Elaine, let's give Henry a kill count.
Henry's kill count?
Yeah.
1. We want to give him up. We want to get, 1.
All right. So
You
this
gotta
one will be
get
you.
6.
Ah,
God needs to work.
Go ahead and create our dog now. All right. How many legs does our dog have?
2.
5,
What's our size of our dog?
20 pounds.
Well, he's missing
Size.
2 legs, so
20
he's
pounds,
small.
but
yeah.
Extra medium.
Medium.
I think our dog is really
Extra
big,
me-
even if it's missing 2 legs.
Extra medium.
Yeah.
Back. Whole
Extra
back
medium.
end of him.
Oh, you guys really made a wheelchair dog? That's messed up.
I think one of them we're gonna have.
Those things
one.
are awesome.
Doesn't need to be wheelchair dogs. I've seen hell. I think I've seen a cat. I saw a cat that didn't have its 2 front paws, and it was adorable. It was able to jump around and play. It was really cute. Can't remember where I saw it though. Was it on YouTube, TikTok, or Vine? I don't remember anymore. Anyway, so we got our size done. Is fixed. Is our 2-armed dog fixed?
2 arm or 2 leg?
2 leg. I meant to say, but it came out arm.
Yes. Yeah, it has to be fixed.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that yeah.
What's our name of our dog?
Benji.
Okay.
He said Benji.
My brain went to a very bad place, and I was like, if anyone says Stumpy, I'm kicking him out.
If you got to kick yourself, Cliff, you said it.
I said it as a warning. It's the thing that I was ready for it, and I was ready to kick someone out. Like, don't be mean. That's unfortunately that's my analytical mind of thinking, like, how can people be mean in my program? I always think of how the people can be horrible in my program and trying to break it.
Which, to be fair, is, very good
Yes,
thing
it's
to
a
keep
good
in
thing
mind.
to do. But unfortunately, sometimes things like that pop into my head where it's like, that is not appropriate. Why am I thinking that? But of course, I'm trying to think of how people could be evil in my program. What's the weight of Benji?
27 pounds.
All right, 27 pounds. Anyone want to give me actually a partial weight so we can have something in the decimal for one of our animals? 27 point what?
27.7.
All right, there we go. We can use our double now. All right, what were the other values for our dog?
Breed.
And if you notice, I hover over dog, I can see it. So there we go. Breed next. What's the breed of our dog? What's Benji's breed?
Bulldog.
I like it. Wait, do bulldogs become 27 pounds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Benji does.
They're more than
Oh, yeah,
that.
bulldog. I'm thinking for some reason
Everyone's
pug,
gonna be
a
on the
pug
floor.
popped in my head. I don't know why.
Oh no.
Yeah, never mind. As soon as I said that out loud, I'm like, wait, why am I picturing a pug in my head?
Could
Never
be a
mind.
bulldog.
We
Boston
got a
bulldog.
bulldog. Yeah, bulldogs can definitely be 27 pounds. Never mind. We got breed. We have snout length. What's our snout length?
Short.
Good. That's accurate. And last but not least, what's our chip ID?
B34. Who cares?
B34? B capital B. There we go. Let's go ahead and let's test this. Frog.speak. Cat.speak. Frog.speak. See what we get. Make sure they actually work. Play. Let's see. For the dots, we have our mew because our cat did not kill much, and a woof. For the moment, let's make Henry kill count 10 just to see if our mew changes into hiss. We're good. So our conditional speak does work. Anyone's not working? So we have that. So now that we know everything we have at the moment works. We have our 3 animal classes. Everything seems to work with the classes. This is a good point to save now, because if I make any mistakes during my next part, I know I can at least backtrack to this working point in my code, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go back to terminal and do git status. You should see we have the outputs, which again, very soon we'll talk about something called git ignores. Git ignores certain folders. We don't really need to push these output files to GitHub. I don't need them, so I don't need the build files in order to work on your project. So eventually, for some of you wondering in the back of your head, if these are useful, these usually would not be included in a GitHub push, but we haven't gotten to that yet. I want to talk about that later on. Again, keep Git simple for the first week. In a week or two, we'll touch base on the next couple extra interesting tidbits for Git. For the moment, don't worry about these at the moment. They're not a big deal. Yeah, we have our output files for the one that we built it. We have our dog and our cat.
Question real quick.
One made. Go for it.
Do you ever use those things in the top right corner where it's it seems like there's shortcuts for it, like on the other side of the screen, right corner, all the way to the right.
These things?
Yeah, it says because it says git, then it says commit and all that other stuff.
No, I didn't see those there for one. And two, again, I like using the terminal just because it looks fancy when you're doing an interview. I like
a hacker.
Yeah, and it's mostly what I've used because I was primarily a JavaScript and C developer and Objective-C or Swift and C# developer. So I didn't really have access to a built-in Git system. If I wanted the Git push, if I wanted to use Git, I had to use the terminal. So I just got used to it. And again, I always feel like for interviews, it looks nice to use the terminal to know those commands. So I believe these will work because of how the Git configurations are, but I've not used them, and I'm gonna show you guys the way to look good versus the way to make it easy. My goal is to make you guys look fancy for the interview. That's my goal. So git add dash, what is our dash again? Yes,
Capital A, yeah.
very nice. Git status again, see it's all green.
Very nice.
We got our green light. What's next?
Very nice.
Commit.
All right, git commit, yep. How do I add a comment?
No, I can't see your screen. I can't see
Oh,
down
you
there.
do.
Do you have the
Hold
Zoom
on.
toolbar in the way, Keith?
I do, or
No,
I
Keith.
I do. I got to put it somewhere else.
brought it up.
Yeah. If
Oh, you can't move the bottom one, can
no.
you?
If you move your mouse off of it, if you move your mouse off screen and wait like a second, it'll
Also maximize. I think you need to maximize the window.
Oh yeah, if your Zoom window's maximized.
All right.
It should go full screen then.
It has been full screen, but
Oh,
okay,
no.
that's good. I can see it now anyway.
Yeah, I moved it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, always let me know if it's hidden. I can move it. There's a Control L clears the console. We have git commit -m created animal dog. cat.
Now, this isn't the assignment part. This is just test cases, right?
Well, this is us again getting those 3 classes in, which is part of the assignment. But
Yeah.
I'm now just doing a commit because I know I have 3 classes built. They work, they function. Let me commit it so that if I make a mistake during my daycare class, I can at least backtrack here. I know this is a valid point in my code. So again, imagine you've been playing a game. We've been coding for, let's see, we've coded for about a full hour. I don't want, if I make any mistakes, I don't have to go, I don't want to have to go back 2 hours worth of code. So once an hour, maybe once every 2 hours, really once an hour, you should be trying to commit if you can, just to make sure that anytime, if you do make a mistake or something goes wrong or hell, you lose power, so things are saved and committed. So you have that stuff saved. Your computer decides to just burn up. So let's say, yeah, your computer just.
Hey,
decides
wouldn't
to
you
fry
have that on?
crash.
Wouldn't you like if you're working for a company, you're working on a big project? Wouldn't you have this thing on autosave?
Well, autosave is one thing, but yeah, committing actually.
I mean,
GitHub,
committing
we're pushing it
to-
off. Yeah, with GitHub, we're pushing it off our computer as well. So now it's on the server. So yes,
Yeah.
if the power for your computer died, you could at least turn it back on and autosave will save what you'd worked on. Downside though, let's say your computer crashed and overheated and is now not turning on. GitHub at least allows you so you can go to another computer,
Oh, yeah,
pull down your
yeah.
code and start from where you were. So you have that. It's all about redundancy. And if with companies, backups and redundancies are everything.
Weren't you saying earlier that you had one that was committing automatically? No? Can it commit automatically or no?
I'm sure there's a way to set that up, to be entirely honest. I never looked into it. There
All
are
right.
automation scripts you can set up for that stuff.
Sure.
I know someone made a bash script or bash a shell command or shell script that ran the commands, and all he had to do was do the file name, and then in the sentence base after it put the comment, and it would do git add, git commit -m with the comment he provided, and git push. So he ran one command to do all 3. There are things you can do with. There are definitely ways you can automate systems. I just haven't used them. Yeah, there are definitely ways to make some of these systems more automatic. 100%.
Yeah, you could do, to get into further, you could do git aliases where you could just type in git like something and it'll just do something automatically. It would write up commands for you. The other thing too, for people who have PCs, if you want to contact me, I'll show you that there is a thing you can add to PowerShell that will show your git your git status right on the command line, like they had in Linux and stuff, where you can see if you haven't committed something or like what's going on. So if you want to have that, you can get in touch with me.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
So we status again. We're on main, nothing commit, working tree. What's the last thing to do? It's actually literally telling us what to do, but
push.
Push.
Literally telling us to do that right there. So let's push it. So try to include a link on to my repo in the next assignment, or at least in the materials. There we go. In the job material, I'll include a link to this repo in Classroom. So if anyone wants to look at my code, so if they need to pull it down for any reason, like if you miss a day, you know you can go on GitHub now and pull my code into your system. So that's another reason why I wanted to get into Git. And again, hopefully after the break next week, that's going to be the next thing we do. I'm going to talk about Git ignores and Git pulls. So if anytime you miss a class, you can at least pull down the code we did in class. So you can at least start the next day with the current code. So that way you're not a day behind trying to catch up. Sound good?
Yeah. So just to clarify, we do have next week off, yes?
Yes.
Okay, because Gabe didn't know when we talked to him last
Oh,
week.
federal. Yeah, with the July 4th. Yeah, I haven't heard anything different. It's something we've always done. So I'm going to be around since I already technically had my vacation last week. I'm going to be around doing stuff. So if you guys run a meeting on any of those days next week, I'll jump in. So during class time, if you guys run your own meetings, I'll jump in. There's no mandatory class, but yeah, I'll be around because yeah, my vacation was last week. I don't need next week off. I'm going to be working the whole week. So All right.
Yep.
100%. If you guys want to work more on this stuff next week, I'll be around. So 100%. I never want anyone who plans to do stuff on July 4th to feel like they can't do July 4th. This is something we've done every year. I just don't find that fair. Anyway, here we go. So now we have everything pushed, we have everything saved. Let's move on to the final class of the assignment and the final piece of the assignment, which is the daycare class. So, another new class, daycare. In the daycare class, there was one field requirement, no field requirements, right? There's no fields. These are just going to have static methods. So first method is going to be the add animal method. So public void add animal. Add animal should take a list and an animal. So we'll do animal. And list. I did not auto import again. Thank you. Call it animal list. I like how it auto guess that. Nice. And the funny thing about this method is that this method actually looks more complicated, or sounded more complicated. It is one of those ones that's hard to describe. It's actually one line of code we need here. Do we know what it is?
Yes.
Go for it.
Let me see. Yours is animal list dot add open parenthesis, and then animal. Well, you have what animal? I had animal type.
Okay, yeah, that works. Again,
The only question I have is I put this as static. It doesn't have to be
right,
static.
I meant to do that.
Oh, all right.
That's what
I did
you
type
were
that in the
asking,
class.
actually.
Yeah, I had it in. Yeah, I wrote it in the assignment to do static methods. Right.
Yeah.
Good catch. I forgot I didn't type that. But yeah.
But would it have worked without being static?
Technically, yes, but again, I would have had to instantiate the class in order to use it. I would have to do
okay.
daycare equals new daycare in order to use it. So go. Let's do another static class now.
Can we go over this static
Static.
class?
Display animals. Yeah. This one's going to take an animal list.
How would you have had to access it if it wasn't static?
I would have to do daycare variable equals new daycare. I would have had to instantiate an instance of the daycare class.
In the main class.
In main method or somewhere, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So why are we making so we're adding our animals to this daycare? Why didn't we add our dogs or our cats? Is it because we're extending them through that animal class?
Yeah, remember both dogs and cats are an animal or is an animal. You have that is a relationship, so they can be in here.
Okay. And why are we using a list again? Just so I can get that logic down.
Just again, so a daycare is going to have multiple animals, right? We want to have a list of all the animals we're currently monitoring, right?
Okay. Okay.
Makes sense, right? Yeah, if we think about it, we have a daycare. As we run the daycare, people are going to come in throughout the day to drop off their animal, and then they're going to come in back later on to pick them up. So we just need to be able to add them to the list of current animals we have in our daycare. All right, let's do the display animal. We're going to take the list. Animal list. In the beginning, again, we want to keep this simple. We're just going to print the animal details. And so one thing we can, of course, do is add some sort of print method in our animal class. But for the moment, I want to make it very data type specific. So we're actually just going to do I want to print every single animal in the list, though. So what can I do for that? I have a collection. And I want, what's that?
You could do a for in loop, right?
Yeah, very good. Thank you for not doing a for loop. For animal.
Animal.
You can do a, but you can do animal again. In or colon animal list. And one of the things I actually like to do a lot of times, though, in this case, is instead of calling it animal list, I would actually do the data type as a plural. So I'm actually going to do that for this one. This is how I would normally do it. I wouldn't do animal list, I would do animals. And that way I say for animal in animals. See how that works? Kind of nice. For each animal in animals.
Are you planning on having a system out print line for this part, or are you going to return something?
yes and no. So we're probably, what I'm thinking of doing actually is doing a system out for print lines so that say it's 1 by 1.
Okay.
I didn't require it to be a string return or I didn't on the assignment, I didn't clarify if it has to be a string return or a printout or a void method. So I didn't clarify in either one, it was going to be void or string, which I forgot to add here. So for this one, I
what I
figured
was
we're going to
getting
be
at.
void.
That's what I was
Yeah,
getting
Good call.
at.
Yeah,
wanted
I
to-
just noticed that as I was talking about it. Yeah, I didn't have a return type. So
I wanted to
Yeah, for
figure
this
out
one-
what you wanted for it so I could tell you what to put there.
yeah, I didn't even notice I forgot to put that there. I was noticing I was angry and I couldn't think why, and I was hoping it would trigger eventually. Thanks for leading me there. So animals, we want to print each one. And so in this one, again, we're going to just do the system out for each individual animal, 1 line each. S out. And again, I have to be careful with this one. Why? What do I have access to in this version of the method?
Well, one thing is you have access to all the animals, but how do I know what animal it is?
Right. All I know in this code here is that every item in this animal list is an animal. I don't know if it's a dog or a cat, or in our main class, the frog. All I know for sure 100% is that it's an animal. So I'm going to treat that as the case right now. I'm going to treat every single animal in my list as an animal, regardless of dog or cat. If I do that, that means I can't in good conscience try to access dog or cat specific fields, can I?
No, because you don't know what it is.
But you can do a get simple name, try to get.
Yes, and that's what we'll do in the next part of it. Yep. Which is good that you already have an idea for that. Yeah. The next part of the assignment was to update this method to then handle the different.
But you could put it in here as well, because this way you would know what it is.
Yep.
Otherwise, you have no clue what you're printing.
Right. Exactly. And that's why for the moment, we're just going to print the animal data, none of the dog data or cat data. But we will update this to then do that check.
It's just the animal data.
For the first
Ooh.
round, and then we're going to update it. No, if you did it where you were able to figure out what type it is and print out the specifics, that is the end goal. So if you noticed in the assignment, the first line, if I bring it over, actually the assignment open.
But we're not supposed to be printing out dog and cat. We're just supposed to be printing out frogs.
Well, no,
basically,
not quite. We're going to print all 3 animals, frog, dog, and cat. We're just gonna print them all as just the animal specific data.
Oh, okay.
So right here, static method display animal should take the animal list and print out each animal. Note that this is going to print out animal details. I should have put the word only there, but it's only going to print out the animal details. So we can't get the child class specific items without typecasting. So but then the very next item clarifies that we're going to update that method to where it will actually iterate through each animal and determine what type of animal it is, if it's an animal, cat, or dog, and then prints differently depending on what type it is. If it's an animal, cat, or dog. In the beginning, again, you can't boil the ocean. We're going to do it little by little. So the very first version of this, we're just going to do the animal data. So we're just going to do name. Name. Actually, let's do should I do a formatted one? We do a formatted just so we can see how that looks a little different.
But you gotta put animal.name.
Oh, right. Yeah, no, I shouldn't have to. Oh, yeah, I do have to do that. Thank you. Animal.name. Legs. New space there.
So if instead of doing that in the print line, if we had a toString method in each of the classes, would that still work?
Yep.
Okay.
Legs. I'll do this right. Make sure I do it right.
So, Cliff,
Yeah. Go for it.
Both of these add animal and display animal method, are they both have access to the animal list?
Yep.
Okay.
We send it as a parameter, remember? See? Has blank legs. We're going to keep it simple and short. And weighs. Weight. I'm not going to put everything down, but the stuff that is definitely available in the animal class.
Why did you concatenate 2 strings instead of just putting it together?
What was that?
Between weight, legs, and then weight. Why don't you just leave it together?
Not sure what you mean.
Never mind.
Okay. All right.
Oh, because you have a plus sign between 2 strings there. It's
Yes.
legs plus and weighs. You could just put that as 1 string, couldn't you?
Oh, yes, I could. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos, for pointing that out.
Yeah, no, I didn't understand what you were saying for some reason. It went right over my head. Thanks for catching that. Like, what's he asking? I didn't realize I was doing it. Thank you. That was 100%. That was 100% redundant. Yes. Good catch. So we have our display animals that does the animal specific data. And so we'll do. We'll keep it like this. I'm actually going to go ahead and do the remove animal method first. Test that these work, and then we're going to update display animal to do the animal types. So public static void remove animal nulls string. All right. So now now we have a list of animals and a name of an animal we want to remove because they're being picked up, let's say. So how do we do this? What's our logic we're going to use here?
We'll do animal list dot remove.
Can't do that, but what
Or
is
animals
the
dot remove?
what's it need in order to do that? So we have 2 overloads. We have the object O. I mean, we have to give it a full object. One of the items that are in the list, we'd have to give it the actual full animal, not a partial, or we can give it an index. Do we have that?
No, but we can.
Oh,
Yeah,
we
we
can
could.
find the index, right?
Mhm.
How would we find the index? Any ideas? What's that, timer? For in, definitely can understand the thought of it, but are we definitely going to hit every single item in the list, or do we only want to go through the list until we find the one we want? Is there a chance we might want to break out early? What do you think, Simer?
Yeah, I would say we would if it's at the top.
Yeah, right. And so this is now you're starting to see when is the benefits to going back to the old for system, the old for loop. In the old for loop, because remember, for ins don't give us access to index. So that wouldn't give us an index. We'd have to keep track of an index ourselves. In the for loop and the for in, you technically can break out early, technically. But main thing here actually was the need for the index. And we know we are more familiar with the ability to break out of a for loop early. We don't have to hit each item. We can skip items in a for loop. In a for in loop, we have to hit each item. We can't skip any. And the common practice is not to break out early, but you can with the normal interruption commands that are in the same commands that you had in JavaScript for interrupting a loop. Do you guys know those 2 commands? There are 2 commands for interrupting a loop.
Break is one.
Break is one. Yep, break is one. That exits the loop. What was the other one?
Continue, like keeps it going, or that's
Continue, yep. Break and continue. Break exits our loop. Continue does what?
Goes to the next iteration.
You got it. Yep. Jumps to the next iteration, starts the next process. Think of it like return almost, where it stops the flow of that code below it and goes back to the top of the loop for the next item.
Okay.
So break is literally just, you're done. Treat it as if you hit a false statement on your conditional. You hit, sorry, true. You hit not false, yeah. Once you hit false on your conditional, you break out of the loop. You only do the loop while the condition is true. So return is like hitting a false on a conditional. It exits the loop's done. It's all over. Continue, on the other hand, is like hitting a return statement in a method. It's going to jump back to the top of the loop and continue and go to the next iteration. So
So if
Those
you
are
use
still
the-
functional on these.
So if you use the for in loop,
Yes,
would
you
a
can use.
would a continue be appropriate?
Yes, Yep, you can use a continue to move on to the next animal in the list. We can use continue to do that. We can use break to exit the loop early. But the main thing that we're missing here in our remove animal item is we need access to the index, right? Because our remove method needs the index.
I mean, I got this done without getting to the index.
Ooh, what'd you do for remove? How'd you remove it?
I did a for in loop and then an if statement. It animal dot name equals
I to remove animal.
name.
I think that actually might work.
I did something similar.
So you could do remove and then in here put animal, or the one you want to remove once you found it.
That would also do remove.
Yeah, that's
if.
exactly what I did. Yeah, after.
That would work. I forgot about
I believe
that.
you could do remove if.
Yeah, I
if.
use remove if in mine.
Ooh.
Well, that's a new method I didn't know existed.
Whoa.
Dang it. Well done. Okay, that's cool. Huh. So remove if, how does that look? I'm just curious now. What do I type here? For those who use the remove if.
I didn't use remove if. Who said they? Was it John?
You would use it like map, or at least how it was in JavaScript.
So you do animal.
Like, yeah.
The lambda and the lambda arrow.
Yep.
Yeah, and then like whatever you want to remove.
Name. Pair two. Name.
I did dot equals.
Zero,
Yeah,
right?
dot equals two.
Right?
I think you have to use dot equals, right?
That's what I was looking for. Dot equals. That was it. Yeah. Compare to does 0 if it's equal, -1 if it's less than, 1 if it's greater than. Right. I just remember the compare to method. There's an equals though. You're right. Equals. That's a better one. Name. There we go.
Now you can just get rid of the.
And I got the equal 0. Yep. So that's going to give me a Boolean value.
Wow.
That's actually really nice.
Whoa.
Okay. I didn't know that we had a remove if method in lists. That's cool. Awesome. All right. But I'll still show the other variation of it. So now we have 3 versions of this. So this is the one-liner. We'll do that. One-liner.
So in that one liner, you don't need to iterate through everything, huh? Or is it?
No, because it's going to iterate through it all. It's going to iterate until it finds any item that satisfies this item. So it's going to loop through, and each iteration is going to put kind of like dot map in JavaScript.
Yeah, I never got to use dot math.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't do much with that.
No, maybe.
So there's a con or a downside for this line, even though the line looks really pretty.
Yeah.
If I have three animals, different animals called spot, it's going to remove them all.
It will, yeah.
And I can't just remove one. I can't just remove one if I go through the iteration. I can say, I want this one removed. So.
Which again, no matter what version we put in, we're going to have some sort of behavior we don't want, because there's right now with how our system's put in, we aren't checking for uniqueness in names. So yes, we could have 3 animals with spot. And so either we're going to do one of 2 behaviors. One, we're going to remove all instances of the same animal name, or we'll only ever remove the first instance, which that's not necessarily the one that's being picked up.
Yeah.
Could be picking
There's
up
also a
spot
remove
2.
first too.
Exactly. So, oh, cool. There you go. But that wouldn't have the predicate though, I don't think. Oh no, it probably does. Yeah, that probably would have the predicate too.
But I do like that line though.
It is a nice one. Yeah, I didn't even know that this method exists, which is again really cool to find sometimes. This is why it's fun to play. So
Yeah, I'm sure there's better use cases for this one specifically.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing that Richie just said in the chat.
Yep. And again, in our current system for the animals, we actually could probably even do something where there's like an ID number that would be unique, and that would be better item on it. So we remove the ID number we're looking for is the one we want to remove. What we're using right now definitely isn't the best system, because we do know animals can share names. So it's not the best system, but that's something we would realize in version 1.0 of our system. Like, hey, we can really have a problem. If we get animals with the same name and someone picks up one of them, our system marks all of them as picked up, and that's not what we want. So that's your first bug. Now you found your first bug in your system, and now you have to think about, well, how can I update my system? How can I differentiate between animals with the same name? Oh, ID numbers, or start adding a last name.
Exactly. Yeah.
Add something else that brings in more specificity to each animal. So But yeah, that would be that right there's your first bug for a program. There's our remove if method. Let's do the for in method, which is for all and animals if animal name equals name remove animal.
You do have to do a return on that. You will get an error.
Really?
At the, yeah, you gotta add it to the next line.
Interesting. That?
Yeah.
Huh. What was the error message?
Travis, do you remember? It's actually said it needs to add about a breakpoint. Yeah, it says add a breakpoint.
It's probably because you are technically modifying a list you're currently for looping through. So that's probably where the error message is coming from, because you technically modified the list as you're iterating through. Think of it kind of like trying to erase with a pencil you're writing with. You can't erase unless you snap the pencil in half, right?
Yeah.
You can't erase with the same pencil you're writing with unless you snap the pencil in half.
Yeah.
So kind of like that concept. So this one actually does a slight, this one can only remove the first occurrence. Put that one in there. If method remove. Am I spelling that wrong? Yeah, whatever. Not a big deal. You guys know what it's saying. So that's our for in method version of it. And last but not least, the for loop method. So this version of it can either do one or two things. We can set it to do all instances or just the first instance. So we can define how we want it to run. Remove all, so check out all spots or just the first spot we run into, for example. Go ahead.
I was going to say, in the display animal, would you want to just put a regular for loop in that one so you could display the numbers and then have it remove in this one and then just have remove number or remove index? So in your display animals, have that one have the normal for loop in there, so we'll display the numbers of the indexes, and then in this one you would just say, remove animal number 5, and it'll just remove that one from the thing.
The only thing I want to be careful with that on is once you remove one animal, any animal after that, their index changes.
That's right.
So once you remove index 3, every animal after updates. So we want to make sure that if we remove animals, the person running the system would have to know I need to rerun the display animals to know the new numbers. So
just you could just recall that again after the redisplay the new list.
So that's why using indexes as IDs is not really the best option. Personally, I don't like using it because things update and people like memorizing things. And a lot of people want to be able to check out multiple items in one shot without having to constantly reprint the list, especially if the list got big. If we were storing 20 animals and I'm trying to check out 3 animals at once, I have to keep rerunning the display item to see the number. It's gonna be annoying. So maybe we'll just do type, I want to remove animal 30, 21, and 18. So yeah, definitely the better end result would be to add in an ID system here. Personally, at least, or again, add in a owner name or system or something like that, owner last name or something. At least some other way of ensuring I'm removing the right animal. Check out that. This one says if animals get I name equals name remove I. Now, if we do this, we do return after this. This does the first item, removes first instance. So as soon as we remove one animal with the same name, we end the method and we don't remove any other. So this is going to remove the first instance. If I don't do this, we are going to try to do the remove all instances, but there's actually a hidden bug that you may not realize in this. And so I want to show that quick. Spot, Henry, Bob, Spot's in there again. another spot, and we have hop from our frogs. So we have those 5 animals in there. Actually, what? I'm gonna switch. I'm gonna do one good thing here. Let's put Bob in here too. So we have Bob here as well. Okay. So, no, not there. I know what I want to do. I know what I want to do. Hold on. I'll put Henry back here. I'm gonna put 2 Bobs back to back.
Ooh.
All right. So I start at 0. We're trying to remove Bob from our list. All Bobs. I'm gonna remove all Bobs. So we got Henry. That doesn't match. So I goes to 1. We're now looking at spot. That equal? Nope. So I becomes 2 because we hit this. We didn't see Bob here. We remove Bob. We'll do this. And then what happens next? I think Matt sees it. Did anyone see it?
The length changed.
Our length changed, but our index is still going to, our I is still going to go up 1, right? Because of the line right here.
So
it's
it's
still
going to
go
skip
up.
over the Bob.
Right, and now if we think about it, index 3 is now not this Bob, but spot. So we end up skipping that second Bob because our list modified in the middle of it. And so that's going to change our length. It's going to change our indexes. And so this is one of those careful things to be careful of. So if we decide we're not going to return after removing one, we're going to do I minus minus here, or not there. We can do it here. So that way, after we remove it, we decrement I by 1. So that way, when it reincrements again here, we're now pointing at the new Bob. That's a way to make sure that our number doesn't actually increase by 1 for any time we remove 1. So since we do that, 2 becomes 1 again, and then back to 2. See how that works?
Yeah.
That way we remove Bob, but yet stay on the next Bob that's right there. We don't move on to spot on accident. Sound good?
Yes.
And so that's the variation that allows us to remove all instances with the for loop.
I love this Git system of submitting work through Git because I've updated this project like 5 times since we started this, and I haven't had to submit and resubmit through class.
No, yes.
This is lovely.
I probably should have clarified. Yes, yeah. That's the other part of actually this Git system is that once you submit the assignment, you are still allowed to update your assignment, modify it afterwards, and let me know, hey, I made changes. Can you review it for me? So I always want to make sure that students can still make changes even after they submit. Note that because of that, I don't always use the submission date on your assignment. I use the last commit date to note what you've been doing on it when you last worked on it. So I tend to use that to kind of know, to kind of be like, okay, maybe you tried to submit this before it was actually done. So don't try that because I can know that, hey, this file didn't exist before. So even though you submitted on this date, that file didn't exist on this date. So it wasn't actually done. So be aware that you can't use that as a way to try to make me think you finished on time. So don't try that. I know the tricks behind that. But what I do like is that once you submit it, if I haven't looked at it yet, I am perfectly fine with you guys continuing to work on something. So my big thing is making sure you guys you work on code anytime during the day, at any time you can work on whatever you want. I never want you thinking that an assignment is now locked and you can't improve on it. So
On line 31, is that I minus minus?
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, we use the I as its value and then we decrement it by 1. Oop, that's the wrong way.
Why is that in animals.remove?
Because we're removing the item out of the animals list. We don't have an animal.
Oh, I see. You've combined the. I for a second I thought that was simply decrementing, but no, you're removing it at that index and then decrementing the value of I after it's been removed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the
Interesting how you can do
extra.
both at the same time.
Yeah, there's a slight little trick to the minus minus and the plus plus system that you may not have realized when you were using it in your looping systems. How these work is that this is also a valid bit of code, like that.
Yeah.
That'll give us the wrong one because that will decrement before it's read.
Exactly.
Pre.
Yep.
versus
So this
post.
reads first and then decrements, which is a really cool feature of the minus minus system. It's not an actual perfect replication of I equals I minus 1. It actually isn't a perfect replication of that, or even this version of it. It doesn't replicate this perfectly. It does it a little bit different. It reads first, then does this, where it decrements by 1, which is really, really cool and would be useful to allow you to use and remove and deduct or use and increment on the same line. So you don't have to add a second line of it feels annoying to have to type a line with just I minus minus. It seems annoying to have to do that, right? To use it and then have to single line with just I minus minus. This looks so dumb, right? So that's what a lot of developers realized, and so they made it so that the minus minus and plus plus system works like that. It'll read it first, then use it, or if you prepend the symbols, it'll do the action first, then read it. Really, really cool, actually. And it's one of those really small little things you can do in your code to show a little advanced skill set in the interview. Doing stuff like that can be a nice little show off moment. Being like, hey, look what I know I can do. So I like showing those things to you guys so you can learn them. And if you don't do it, it's fine. If you do your if you do your decrement on the next line, I'm not going to dock you points for it, but I will be impressed if you start using these little extra tricks to make your code a little nicer looking and a little more advanced looking. Sound good?
Yes.
Go to your main class for me for a second.
What's that?
The main class, the main Java.
Oh yeah. I'll move it over here for you. Not like that.
No.
That, there you go. And I'm going to shrink this down a little bit so you can see the whole thing. And I'm actually going to make it so we use the remove if version of it. So I'm actually going to comment these out and comment that line back in. I like that remove if version. That's a nice one.
Okay, thank you. Got it.
All right, so we have those. And what I want to do now is actually test these items. So I'm actually going to update our main class, which now I feel lame having you look at it, Junior. So actually going to update this stuff. So I'm just going to comment this stuff out. You can delete
I'm
it if you
not
want. but I'm
understanding
commenting it.
is like on your
Sure.
display animals, your second method.
Yep.
How come you're not just printing out animal?
Because that will give us the address, remember?
I don't think so.
Really?
So
Yeah, I think I think
It
list-
prints
so
out the
there's not a,
address
there's
when you
not a
get files.
two-string method in the
Yeah,
class.
I didn't
Oh,
do a
I have
two-
a two-string method. That's right.
That's why. Yeah,
why.
that's why.
So
Oh,
so Cliff,
yeah.
would you say if we use two-string methods in each of the classes, that would already account for
Yes.
like differentiating?
Yeah, that's what I did. All right.
Yes, it
that's
would.
fine.
Good
I
way
had
of
that
doing
at
it,
first,
yeah.
and then I changed it because I thought you wanted us to do something different.
Yeah, the problem is I was trying to figure out how can I get you guys to do the type of system or the instance of system. So I wanted to see if you could learn how to use the instance of system in like a switch case
Yeah,
to be able
that's
to
what I
print out
ended up
based on
using.
instance of. I couldn't come up with any other method other than that. But again, my goal is for you guys to figure out a way to make it work. So that's actually a really cool way to realize that you can use a two-string, and that would make it so that currently what we had there, all you need to do is just switch the print line to animal, and then it works, regardless of the
Yeah.
animal typing to get the animal specific data. And so you don't need a typecast. I was trying to come up with a exercise for for doing the instance of conditional, and then doing the typecast. But I couldn't come up with anything that would do that couldn't be overridden by that. I knew that was a way to get around it and not do the instance of, but I'm glad you guys figured that out. That works. That solves the requirement. So I'm happy. So that's why I wanted to review it today so I could show you that instance of version of it. So you can see that variation if in case you decide not to do the two-string. Yeah, that's definitely a better way of doing it. Okay, I'll definitely tell you that right from the get-go. Doing the two-string method is definitely going to save you a lot of effort. But let's do this. So now we're going to do. We're going to add three animals here. We're going to add them to the list, but I don't want to add them via the variables because I want to add them to the list. I don't want to be able to access them via frog, cat, and dog. I want to only access them through the list. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm going to instantiate the items as I send them to the add animal method. So what I'm going to do first I got to instantiate a list. So I'm going to do list. What I do is I type list and I hit the enter key so that it imports it up at the top here. Animal. Animals. Array list. Now I'm going to do very simply daycare add animal.
Did you say frog?
Copy the frog. So I'm going to copy the frog on line 9, this new animal version, because I don't have to retype it. Paste that there. I'm also going to move this back over. Hold on. Not sure why I'm keeping it over there. Here we are. I copied over the new animal. Get rid of the semicolon, do this comma, and do animals. So this is what I was talking about in the code, in the hint there. I don't need, by creating the variable here, I typically have a way to access it outside of the list as well. I want to have the animal exist only in the list. I shouldn't have to create a variable for the item because it exists in the list. So now I can just do animals.get 0 to now get that animal.
Okay.
With the if I instantiate frog, I have a way to access it outside the list. And that's not really normal in how systems work.
Good
So,
question. But,
go for it.
So basically, we're adding it to we're adding this animal into a place in the array essentially. So
yeah, in the list. Yep.
Well, how do we? So it's not a frog anymore. It's just.
It is. It just again, we don't. Well, I guess it's not technically because nothing here says it's a frog.
Okay.
But
No
it's
reference
not,
types.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't actually put anything like type or in here inside of the animal class. So really, all we can go by is what it says. So yeah, it could be any animal. We just know it's not specifically a dog or a cat.
And why after the weight do we add the animals?
Yeah,
That's the list we're putting it inside.
So
So
you're
we're
saying
adding this animal to this list.
So every time we want to add something to any list, we have to also add in, tell the computer, hey, we're adding it to our animals array list.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Because we could have two separate lists if we wanted. That's not normal. And that's, again, the fact that you're noticing this seems odd that we have to provide the list to it. That's a good feeling because I'm going to show you again how we can do the HAZA system where the daycare will have its own list of animals. It will have one. And so then we wouldn't have to send the list, we just would send the animal and then the system would add it to its own proprietary list that's built into the class. We're going to do that in a couple minutes. So that'll be the last thing we do today to show the HAZA system.
Gotcha.
And then we'll do a practice of HAZA tomorrow. I'm sorry, Thursday. Anyway, daycare add animal. We're going to do one more. We're going to do two more. We're going to add our cat. So we'll do new cat. Copy all that. Put that in there, comma. Why is it still yelling at me?
So commented out.
Oh, why are those commented out? Oh, that's because they're all commented out.
Weird.
Hold on. There we go. And then oops, I didn't do that. You should all be indented one. There we go. Yep, someone's there. All good. So now we added our cat. And nothing in the details say it, but we do know it's a cat class. So that's what makes this one different from animal. This is still an animal. That's why we can add it to the animal list because cats is an animal. You know, the is a relationship. So cat is a animal. Again, that sounds weird to say it that way. It's not how we would say it in English, but it makes sense what I'm saying. Cat is an animal. And that's why we can add the cat to an animal list. The last one, our dog, Henry. I'll comment that for a second, so we'll just do this instead. Comment that back out. So now we're adding our three animals. So we added in our cat, we added in our dog, we added in our frog that isn't necessarily a frog. For all intents and purposes, it could be a cat. We just didn't identify it as a cat class. Something to be aware of. All right, so we have our three animals. Now we're gonna go ahead and display them. So we're gonna do daycare.display. And again, because our daycare class is a static class, it doesn't have its own properties, we have to provide it the list of animals we want to display. So we have to provide the list again. Provide the list animals. Save. We're then going to go ahead and remove one of our animals from the item. We pick them up. Just testing all the behavior. We have to provide the list. So again, animals again. This seems very redundant. This is where you should start feeling that feeling like, you know what? I keep having to send this list. This feels weird. Why do I have to keep sending this thing? And the last thing we do is write a name. So who are we picking up? We have Raul, Calico, not Calico. We have Raul, Henry, and Benji. Who are we picking up?
Benji.
Picking up Benji? Get Benji. And then we'll display again. See if Benji was picked up. Let's run it. See what we get. Probably should have put another new line after this. Didn't think of that. Another spacer. So we have our 3 animals there. Raul, Henry, Benji. 4 legs, weighs 2, 12, and our Benji is the 2-leg dog. And we see we print again, but this time Benji isn't printed because Benji was picked up. That looks like it works. What do we think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks like it works. Let's make our quick change to our display animals method. And again, I want to showcase the variation of using the instance of system. Do it and do that. Switch.
Why are we adding the switch statement?
Instance of. See if I can do this. Can I not? Ah, dang, can't. Okay, fine. I was hoping I could do that. Oh, that's fine. So use an if statement. We could do. Actually, I want to do something different. Yeah, if animal instance of. Let's do which one first?
Dog.
I like it. Dog. Once we know that it is a dog, I can now do dog equals dog animal. So now I'm just recasting animal as a dog in a variable, so I can do these items without having to do the typecast each and every time. So if anyone was wondering why I did that, although if I didn't do this, I'd have to typecast it with this parenthesis dog in front of animal every time I try to access one of the fields. That's why I'm doing it once. Because now I can do sys that's out. Dog.name. Hey dog is a.
I'm not following the logic on it.
We'll get there in a second. I want
All
to
right.
type it out. No worry. We'll walk through it again in a second. So dog name. Well, let's see it. I'm gonna get rid of this for a second then. Hold on. See, animal name is.
Is it like the data types? Is that what it is?
Yeah, but again, I'm gonna do it in a second. I want to do it a little different. I think I'm jumping a little ahead. There's a dog. Is a. Let's do this actually. Size. Dog. Oops, I need animal. With plus eggs. Eggs. And what's a dog specific value that we have? We pull dog over here. Not like that.
Breed.
Yeah, breed. Where should that go? So we say the same dog, I could say animal name is a small or large breed, right? Instead of using the word dog here, I could put the breed here, right? That seem good? All right, let's do that. Space. Animal dot breed. Well, there's an error there. Why? So what data type is animal?
Animal.
Right. Breed, though, belongs to what class?
Oh,
Dog.
To a dog, right? Now
Is it not-
well, go ahead.
I would say, shouldn't that have access to dogs since we extend those are child classes of the animal class?
Yes, but the animal variable isn't guaranteeing for us that it's a dog or a cat. This animal variable is of animal data type, so it can only guarantee the animal data type fields and methods. By doing this right here is kind of like a conditional. It's going to say true or false. So animal instance of dog. It will say true if it is a dog. If the current version of animal, the current animal we're looking at, is an instance of the class dog, it's going to come back true. If this animal was an instance of the cat class, it's going to come back false. Or if the animal is an animal, it's going to come back false. So this is only going to come back true if the animal we're currently looking at is a dog, is an instance of the dog class. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So now we have confirmed it, but again, the animal variable is a animal class. But this is where we have something called typecasting. By putting in parentheses a data type before a variable, we can typecast that variable as it. It's still yelling at me because I'm going to do this, I believe. No, wait, why is it still yelling at me?
I have to step out for 1 minute. There's a car
Go ahead.
alarm going off, and I have to figure
It
out.
has to be outside of the breed. You had it right. You just put it as.
Oh, dang it! Yep, you're right. I forgot. I gotta typecast the variable first, and then do the dot breed on it. So I gotta make sure I typecast the variable animal, and then the result of that, which is a dog version of it, a dog. It pulls out the dog. It turns this into a dog, and then we run dot breed on the result of typecasting animal. That seems a little annoying to bit to type, right? Especially if I want to access yet another item. Let's say I want to access the chip ID or the snout length. I'd have to type this yet again. And so what I decided to do was to just do dog equals animal. I created a dog instance, a dog variable that's going to store the typecasted animal of dog to dog. So that way now I have it. So now I can just do right here.
Got it.
Dog.read. Technically, I can keep these size, name, and legs to animal if I want, because that is still valid. Those are properties of the animal class. But it does seem weird to do animal, animal, dog, animal. So I could always, of course, not that, do dog, and dog. Make sense?
Yeah.
There, that way we slowed it down a bit. So now hopefully that makes a little more sense. There we go. Now we have the dog-based items and legs.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
Good. Oh, definitely. We're gonna do the same thing with the cat now. We'll do else if animal instance of cat. We now do cat equals cat animal. And now we can do a system out that's cat specific. Cat name is a cat size. With a pattern. There's our cat specific item. Pattern. A kill count of look good. Oh, no, it doesn't. Semicolon. Nope, that's there. There we go. Right. Oh no, because I don't want a semicolon because it's inside of a method. Right. I don't want those actually. Because that's the closing parenthesis. Right. Okay. And then we'll do else. We want to print this stuff out here if the item is an animal. So we'll print out the default if we're neither a cat or a dog. That makes sense? So we're going to keep that last system out to print out anything that's an animal. So technically our frog. So this will handle the frog, this will handle Henry, and this will handle Benji. Make sense?
Yep.
See if it works. So we'll run it. So we get different printouts now. Hey, take a look. Raoul has 4 legs and weighs 2.2 pounds. Henry is an extra large cat with a calico fur pattern with a kill count of 10. Benji is a medium bulldog with 2 legs, and then we reprint again with Benji no longer part of the list. So that's the other variation of it. That's, again, that was just me again trying to remember how we can then access those class-specific items. Again, great job noticing that being able to use the toString method, since that is built into all 3 classes. You could definitely take advantage of that. So great job noticing that. But this is how you can also do it where you don't, if you don't have a global method like toString. So if you don't have access to a global method like toString, this is how you can typecast an animal, typecast a generic, or really in this case, an abstract class like animal. Animal is fairly abstract, into a specific class, and then get that specific class information. Which again, next week, on top of that, we're going to be talking. At some point we're going to come back to this. We're going to actually talk about abstract classes. That's a little more advanced. We're going to get into the bank system. Before we get into that, we're going to get into our dice games before we get into abstract classes. So nothing you have to worry about yet, but that's something we will be talking about soon.
Cliff,
last thing. Go ahead, Mike.
Quick question.
Yeah, no, please.
So I tried doing something like this. I ran into an issue because I had used the two-string method in all my classes. So with my else statement, it would print out, basically it would print out once for each dog and then again for that same animal as an animal. If that makes
We'd have to take a
sense.
look at it. It sounds like you might have had an if else, or where your ifs and your elses might not have been fully matched, because then with these all being linked as an if else, if one of these, once one of these two trigger, everything else is skipped. This only works if the other two fail. So if this one passes, it ends the entire if block. So if this runs, this is true. It doesn't run this, and it doesn't do this. If this fails, it will check this one. If this one's true, it won't do the else. It only runs the else if this is false. So if there's a mismatch in your if statements, that's how it could end up doing more than one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I think you're right because I didn't include the word else.
That would do it. Yep.
If. So all right, thank you.
There you go. No worries. Yeah, if you just add that else in there, it'll probably fix it. So now we're going to touch base on the HAZA system. So as we noticed, this is very redundant. We're passing the list every single time. And really, if you think about it, it's the daycare is going to have its own list, right? The daycare that we run is going to have a list, right? It's not like I'm going to have someone else in another building holding a list. I'm going to have to keep calling them and be like, oh, hey, I need to add an animal to the list. Can you add this animal? Hang up. Oh, hey, I got another animal to add. Can you add it to the list? Hey, can you give me the list? Can you give me the animals? I need it from this list. I need to look at all my animals. Can you give me the list back? Right? That seems very redundant, right? It kind of seems a little annoying, right? As the daycare, I'm going to have a list. And so what's really interesting is that you guys have been doing your fields in your classes with a data type and then a variable name, right? In our main class, though, we've been creating instances of classes. How? It's kind of the same as creating a variable, right? Instead of doing int, we do animal, right? Instead of doing string, we do cat, right? And so we can have fields that are also classes. They don't have to be a data type. Well, they are. But remember how I said classes are treated like a data type. So we can even do list animals. And now we have a list inside of our method, of our class. So now I don't have to provide the animal list anymore. I can remove it from here. It's going to cause the thing to yell at me. Animals. And so now I just need the animals sent to me, and I'm going to add it to my built-in list. Why is it yelling at me? All right, because I'm no longer static now. Note here, though, that to make this work, I now need to make an instantiated version of the daycare. Now that I have a variable that is something that can be modified, I need an instance. Like we talked about the cups, because I can now modify this item, I want to be able, it needs to be non-static anymore. It needs to be instantiatable because I can have multiple daycares, right? I can have a daycare here in Providence. I can have a daycare up in Woonsocket. Is that up? That is up. I think so. I can have a daycare down in Kingston. I can have multiple daycares and they're going to have their own lists, right? Each daycare is an instance of my daycare company, right? So now we're going to get rid of the static process. So no more static. Animal. We're going to go ahead and update the display animals. We no longer need the animal item here. We're just going to get rid of static because now we're going to use the class animal. I don't need to change anything though, because note how I use the animals method here. Currently, this is still gonna work. It's still gonna use this one. Remember, if you don't do this, Java will find the closest scoped variable, and there is a method called a method variable called animals. It's gonna do that one, not the class one. By removing the property though, or the parameter from the method, it now wants to use the class method, the class field, but it can't do that in the static. So if I move static, our current code will still work. That is partially part of the reason why I switched to animals, because I didn't want it to change all that. We can do the same thing to our remove animal. Remove the term static, remove the term animals here from our parameters, and just take the name. And again, now we're referring to the animals in our class. All we have to do now is update our main. But this is now using its own proprietary list. So now we can go over to main. We no longer need to instantiate a list because we're not going to use this list anymore. We're going to use the list in our class. So instead, we're going to do daycare. What's the name of our daycare?
Doggy Daycare.
All right. Doggy Daycare. Daycare. There's no, we didn't put a constructor, so there's nothing to set. So we didn't send any names or it. Our name can be our variable name, but we could probably add some other parameters to this. Name of this daycare, where its location is. This things we could add later on. For the moment, we don't need to. And now we're just going to go through and remove all references to any lists. So remove animals. Remove animals. Front comma. Animal in the comma. Animals. Animals. Oh, right, because I'm using the static method. I do also have to update all of these to now use the instance. So copy that, change, 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 and change. So now we're using the Doggy Daycare, which now has built-in list.
How'd you do that so quickly?
Oh, I just double-clicked on the variable here, so it highlights it. I can Command-C to copy or Control-C on Windows.
Yeah.
I then double-clicked on the item I wanted to switch. So,
You just double click on it.
yeah, it highlights that word. So I double-click daycare.
Highlights the whole thing.
Double-click, it highlights that word, yeah. Highlight shortcut that I know. Good question. Shortcuts are things that are definitely helpful. So yeah, double-clicking a word highlights that word. Yeah.
All right.
Let's see if it works. I'm gonna hit run. Take a look. We now have a built-in list. And this is a HAZA. Our daycare has a list as a collection of animals. Right? So this is what we can dig into more later on. On Thursday, we'll have a practice of a challenge to see, can you create an object with a HAZA system? So take a look at how this works and think about it. But I'm going to give you guys a practice item that's going to be very, very simple based on something like this. But one of the fields is going to be another class. So you're going to create one class, and then you're going to create another class that has that first class as a field inside of it. It'll make sense when you see the assignment. Take a look at this. I'm going to post the videos up tonight. We are at 8:07. Actually, I'm going to end the class a little early today. Wow, that actually was fast.
Could you actually go to your main real quick? Okay.
Yes, please.
And go to the
And yeah,
bottom
I'm
of
going
the
to open
main.
the floor for questions. So,
I just want to look at the bottom of the main, like
bottom
towards the bottom. I don't know.
Oh, I'm going to do this quick.
Okay.
I
I
can
thought
see
I
it.
was missing
So this is all the valid code right here.
Okay, never mind. I thought I was missing something.
Does anyone's code not work that who's been following along?
Oh, I just have to get rid of, right, okay. It will work in one moment.
Okay, all right. Like I said, this is just the first round of it. We're going to be doing a couple more practice items like we did with the fruit stand and the original Doggy Daycare. We're going to do a couple more practices with now adding in this concept of HAZA systems. So we're slowly building on top of our knowledge. We know how to build basic classes now and how to build basic methods. Now we're gonna learn how add again the has a system. What's that, Junior?
Click on the cat. On the cat for me, please.
Cat, sure. Here, now just we gotta put this in domain.
Yep, it works. Fantastic.
I see what's going on.
So I have main open for the main.
Okay. Thank you.
And this code need looking at. Any questions? If anyone actually built theirs in another different, unique way you want to share, I'm game for looking at that stuff. I think we covered a lot today. I think we learned a good amount of stuff.
Removal from index.
What's that?
You remember when you said you wanted to remove names that weren't the same? So I made it remove by index.
Like I said, that's the only good item that we can use. I guess for the caveat to that is once you remove one animal from index, all the other animals after it, their index updates. So
yeah, I made
again,
it refresh.
Yeah.
So it does it every time you remove it. You can remove another one without a problem.
Oh, cool. All right.
How about the bonus part? No, the additional challenge.
All right. We can do that. That's good. I could do our extra time. Let's do it. The extra challenge was the noise method, the noise parameter. We're gonna add that to our dog class because our cat class already has a customization to its speech system. So we're gonna add that to our dog class. So an item called noise, public string noise. I'm going to set that to an empty string to start. So I'm going to preset it because I'm going to keep the current standard public dog constructor that doesn't take a noise because not all dogs can speak. Certain dogs may not say anything. And we don't want to break our current existing system. So we're going to keep our current constructor. We're going to add a second constructor that will take noise as well. So public dog. I'm gonna take everything here, copy it, paste. That's still telling me that it has a problem with the factor we're not calling super. And we currently have two constructors with the same definition. I'm now gonna add in string noise. Probably for no super. Yep, no default constructor available. Income company animal. So I'm going to show you something a little cool here. I feel like this, having to retype this could be a little redundant, right?
Oh, okay. So this won't matter. This won't be the level of the front. See?
Oh, how do I do this again? Oh, I don't remember now.
All right, you good?
That does what I'm thinking it does. No. I feel like so I got to double check my notes because I didn't think to load this again. But I do believe there's a way that I can reuse the other constructor so I don't have to retype the same information. I do believe there's a way to call this constructor from this one and send it this information. I can't remember how to do it though, unfortunately. So we're just going to copy this information and paste it down here. Without the chip ID. Wait, why is the chip ID? Wait, what? Hold on. Oh yeah, no, I did something done there. Okay. I can't remember how to do it. I know there's a way to do it. I just can't remember how to. At least I believe there was, unless I'm thinking of C# or Objective-C again, which happens sometimes. But now we have two constructors. One dog that doesn't take noise, so the noise stays as empty string. And then we have another dog that does take noise and sets it. So now in our speak, what we want to do first is we want to check, hey, does our dog have a noise? If it does, we want to output that noise. If not, we actually want to use the animal's default speak method and print the dashes. So we no longer have a woof as our default noise anymore. Our default behavior is going to be silence. We're only going to have our dog speak if we provide it the noise that it actually speaks. So I'm not going to use this anymore. If noise equals string. How do I call the parent class's speak method? Anyone want to take a guess? How do we reference the parent method?
The dog
Was that?
speak.
I think I heard it.
Super.
Super, right? Super refers to a parent, and take a look. We have access to all the parent methods. So now we can do super.speak, access the parent speak method now. So even though we overrode speak, we can still reference that speak if we need to. Else, it's out. Else. So currently now, if we were to go back to main now, actually, no, let's go back to daycare for a second because I want to add something quick. Go away. Not you guys, but the menu from Zoom. Come back to daycare quick and display animals. Underneath this else system, I'm also just going to have the animal speak. Just that after every one of these lines, we hear what the animal says. Animal makes a noise after because they hear us say their name. So we're saying that every time they hear us say their name, they're going to make a noise. So we know that that's the animal. Sound good? It's a stupid reason, but it works. But now we should see, so Benji right now, we didn't set Benji with a noise. So Benji's going to do what?
Should go to the default of nothing.
Yeah, let's see. Our rule should say nothing. Yep. Henry is a cat with a kill count of 10, so it hisses. Benji has nothing, so it says nothing. And then we can see Raoul and Henry do the same thing, and Benji's not has been picked up. I'm actually going to go back to main, by the way, and comment these two out because we don't care about these right now. Let's print it again. Just like that. There we go. See, Raoul, our animal, does the default speak, and Benji also does the default. Let's add a second dog. Good. How many legs does this dog have?
4.
All right, normal dog. I was waiting for someone to say 6. Anyway, what's the size of this one?
Medium.
Medium again? All right.
Extra medium.
Extra medium. All right, there we go. Extra medium. I don't know why it's not giving me my.
Is that a real thing? Extra medium?
I don't think it is.
No, it's just large.
I'm trying to think if I ever heard that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it's a thing. Yeah, it's not even a thing. It sounds like a type way to cook a steak, honestly.
Yeah.
I like my steak extra medium.
Perfect for dog.
Yeah. Is our extra medium dog fixed?
False.
No.
False. All right, this one's not fixed, and I did it wrong. False. There we go. What's the name of this dog?
Spike.
Spike. Okay. Or that
Mike.
Pike? I heard Pike. Or Mike.
I said Spike.
Okay.
Spike works.
All right, and then what's the weight of Spike?
30 pounds.
We are extra mediums. That does fit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Flat 30. Oh, I guess it needs to double.
Well, not, I wouldn't say it's double. That would maybe large. Extra medium is just a little bigger than medium. That's what I'm going. That's what I see in my head, at least. What's the breed of our extra medium dog, Spike?
Oh, he's gonna be a husky.
Husky. I like it. I do love the husky face. Let's see. Snout length.
Long.
Long. All right. And we got chip ID. What's our husky's chip ID?
Let's go with N7. Gonna be a letter and a yeah.
Mass
there you
Effect. Got it.
Mass
All right.
Effect. Yeah. Hey, there you go.
Don't you question my knowledge. All right. What's our noise we make?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. What is-
YIP.
Video
Yes.
game again.
N7 is yeah, that's from Mass
Yeah.
Effect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a item from Mass Effect. It's a video game.
Yep.
Yep.
YIP.
We have a husky that yips. We'll go with it. I don't know of any husky that yips, but let's do it.
I could do ARF if you want
Arf.
to change
There we
it.
go. It's fine though. It'll get the point across. It'll get our test
Yeah.
across.
Bye.
And there we go. Raoul has 4 legs. Henry is an extra large cat with calico with the hiss. Benji doesn't say anything, and Spike yips. That look good?
Can I see one more time how you named the doggy daycare list in your main class?
Sure.
Scroll up a little.
No doggy, there's no list. We
Yeah, yeah.
just-
So we
built in.
moved it, but now we created. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we created an instance of the doggy daycare class, which now we have an instance of a list inside of the doggy daycare class. So
Okay.
yeah, what's really cool about this is we could always, this could be our Providence
I gotta wrap my
location.
head around that.
Now I can always do daycare. Let's say we have
Career dogs.
Weird dog.
your dogs equals new daycare. And so that would be a different daycare. And so what I could do here, I'm going to add Calico to our career dogs, and we'll also put Spike in there. So by doing that, if we hit play right now, we'll notice that only 2 get printed out, Raoul and Benji, because we only printed out the doggy daycares list. So I'm going to do an empty string, so I'm going to do career dogs.display. Hit play. And we'll see the other 2 dogs are in the other locations. So our silent dogs are in doggy daycare, and our active dogs are in career dogs. And so that's what the instance system gives. We can now have 2 different daycare locations. We can add animals to each one, but they'll behave the same. That's one of those big kind of cool things we have there. So, see the difference? We'll continue to play more with this. We're definitely going to do a lot more with these things. We're going to play more with this. We're still in the very beginning. You guys have only been playing with Java for now. This is the 3rd week, I want to say, maybe 3rd or 4th. We're getting there though. Still the very beginning of it. You're getting into some of the cooler stuff that we're getting into. You're building some more. We're slowly building more complex items. Up till now, you've only been dealing with the standard generic data types. Today, we're just adding in the ability. Now we can add in classes into classes. So we did the classes are classes. We've done inheritance. Now we've done the other part of inheritance, which is the has. So we're getting into that. Like I said, we'll do a little more practice on this on Thursday, which I think will help you guys understand it a bit more. We'll have another item to build. So my challenge for everyone here is to start kind of playing with this. Look back at your fruit stand. Is there anything there you could do a HAZA in? Think about that. Could you maybe update your fruit stand to now to have the fruit stand class with a produce list?
Can you scroll a little bit up on the dog class?
Dog class? Sure.
Yeah.
Let's pull this down a little bit.
Okay.
I can't fit everything this time. So yeah, that's when we make the challenge for you guys to get some practice on this. Take a look at your fruit stand and see if you can update the fruit stand to mimic this system. Because currently our fruit stand, I don't think we had a fruit stand class. But take a look at that and see how you improve it. Most likely over the weekend, there will be a fruit stand 4.0 challenge to update it even more. But that'll be a nice way of practicing, seeing if you can make any changes to your existing fruit stand if you would like to. I'm actually going to end class now so I can go look at some of you guys' projects, some of the items you guys have submitted. So I'm going to take a look at some of your fruit stands, some of the other assignments you've worked on, so I can start giving some feedback on it. Sound good? Yeah, I'm going to go check some videos.
I want a nap.
Sounds good.
And yeah, we did a lot today, so I didn't want to do any more. Let you guys process this. I'm going to let the video process so I can get both videos up on the playlist tonight so you guys can review them. We'll tackle some more on Thursday. Don't worry, we'll keep repeating. We'll keep doing some repetition. We'll keep building things so you guys can get this stuff down pat. Sound good?
Thank you.
All right, I'll see everyone.
When will the video be posted?
I'm going to get both these up tonight. So that way they'll
All
be
right.
up tonight. I'll try to
Great.
post it in Slack when they're active, or at least when they're processing. So, sound good?
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Well done. Take care, everybody.
Night, guys.
Thanks, Cliff. Have a good night, everybody.
Night.
Yeah.
Cliff.
Yep.
Could you use this? I know you can call another constructor using this, but I don't know how you would reuse another one like you were talking about.
I gotta double check it, see if it actually is a Java thing. I'm actually slightly concerned now that I'm thinking like Objective C or C# or something that I could do that on.
Do you have this as a repository? This project you have right now on screen?
What's that?
Do you have it as a repository on?
Yes, I'm gonna actually do that right now. I'm actually gonna do git-a.
Because I just got behind in a couple of things. Can you share that or?
It's right on my GitHub. You guys should, if you guys aren't following my GitHub yet, you're slacking.
I am not following
CRC
your
NUM4.
Let's see. Let me add you. Let me go to GitHub.
You put that in the chat, Cliff.
Yeah, I'll just go over here if you guys see it.
CRC, and then you just type in the search screen CRC.
Num4, yep.
That's me. And if I look you up, there we go. GitHub.io. There we go. Found you.
It's me. Yeah, you can follow me. That way you can pull up the assignments that you need to pull up. Like I said, the video is going to go up too. So if you fell a little behind, you can also watch the videos again and follow along. So I'm going to be pushing those up tonight. So we'll just quickly finish up committing. Hold on.
And then you check. It's going to be, oh yeah, in one of your ADA repositories.
ADA, what? I
Oh,
have
where
88
am I showing?
repositories.
It's showing on my screen 88. It's weird.
88. Oh, 88. I'm sorry. I think it said ADA. I'm like, what?
No,
What is ADA? 88. Yeah, no, it's gonna be the cohort. I always prefix your guys' stuff with CH12. So if you look up, if you search my repos for CH12,
yep,
you'll find all the repos that we've done for your class.
Sweet.
So yep, I make it nice and easy for you guys to find stuff without having to memorize the names. If you're unsure what the name of it is, just search my repositories for CH12 and you'll find everything that in the name should then give you what you need. So.
I also had a question. I've just been putting all of my, like I have a Java repository and then I put all my projects in there.
While good in the beginning, it's gonna make your GitHub look kind of small because you're only gonna have one repo. So I personally would recommend separating it into different projects.
Okay, so like
That's
every project should have its own repo.
100%, because that's gonna make you have more repos. It's gonna have you get better. It's gonna make the green squares easier because you'll get more green squares. It'll look like you're updating multiple items. Not to mention that's more commonly what you want. You want people to be able to download a specific project, not all your projects to look at one.
Okay.
If you think about the interviewer later on, are they really going to want to have to pull? Are they really going to want to pull all your projects or the ones they actually care about?
All right.
So that would be my recommendation moving forward. A different repo, every project.
All right. Thank you.
A little more effort, but it'll benefit you in the long run. Sound good?
Thank you for that.
Oh, definitely. That's probably a question I probably would have answered eventually, but glad you asked it now. So, and we're still recording, so that'll be on the video, which is good.
Sweet.
Any other quick questions?
Well, that's it for me. I'll see you all on Thursday.
Thursday. All right. See you then.
All right.
Good work, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Buenos nachos.
Buenos noches. Nachos? Wait.
No, I said it wrong. I said buenos. I said buenos nachos. It's actually buenos nachos.
Okay.
Hey,
I was gonna say,
Cliff,
my
are you
last
gonna
name-
put this up on YouTube? Will you
Yes.
put in the video?
Yep. And I'll probably put it in, put the material link for you guys in your classroom as well. So that way you can access the same playlist.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. I'll do that tonight. So. All right. See everybody on Thursday.
All right. See you guys.
Take care.
Thank you.